For today, all you may need is a blanket, just something for a little bit of support in a seated position, but nothing else is explicitly needed for today. So whenever you're ready, go ahead and meet me on your backs. So for today, we're going to be working on a little bit more shoulder mobility, a hint of strengthening, just to engage the surrounding muscles, but focusing on mobility. When you come onto your backs, keep your knees bent, arms resting alongside your body. Give your body a moment to come to a resting pose. Giving yourself the space to check in. Maybe scooping the shoulder blades underneath the body, finding a gentle opening across the chest, across the shoulders. Starting off pretty gentle, no big openings. Just assessing your space as you come onto your mat. Finding a few breaths for yourself. I have a natural tendency to just start to sway my body wherever I start to settle in, so feel free to take that gentle movement. And start to bring your arms into a capital T position. And then let the knees fall to the right. The left arm will come over to meet the right. So your arms are extended out, palms meet one another, knees are coming together, bent, and everything's facing the right edge of your mat. From here, you're going to start to sweep the left arm up and overhead, creating a big rainbow or circle up around your head. The gaze can follow if that's comfortable for your neck. And then you're going to bring that left arm to the left side of your body, the left side of the mat, opening the front of the chest, finding a gentle twist. Pausing just for a moment and then bringing that arm, reversing that movement, coming back to meet the right hand. We're going to take a few rounds of that, about 4 or 5 times. So go at your own pace, opening nice and slow. Exploring the range, the space, the opening. Throughout the left side of the chest, the left shoulder. Feeling the shoulder blade move around the back body. Pressing into the rib cage as you find that space towards the end of that rainbow, the end of that arch. Just pausing for a moment, pausing at any particular spot, any particular sticking point that you may find. And then wherever you are, take one more round here, and on that final round, you're going to hold in that, either that same sticking point or at the end of your range. And just holding, breathing into that space, breathing into the front of the shoulder. Allowing the chest to fall a little bit more open. Maybe facing the sky. One more breath. And then gentle engagement with the core, bring the knees through center. And then allow the knees to fall towards the left, the right hands as they come to meet the right. The right hands as they come to meet the left. Left ear starts by resting onto the mat. Then begin to sweep the right arm up and overhead, creating that big arch, reaching the fingertips the whole way through. And coming on back, reversing that movement. Again, another 4 or 5 rounds going at your own pace. Working your way through that full range of motion with that big sweeping movement. Finding space in your shoulder, space through your back body. And when you're moving through this motion, trying to keep the hips stacked on one another. Allowing as much of that motion to come from the upper body. And then one of your last rounds, sweep that arm, reach the fingertips all the way through. Then come to your end point, that sticking point, that area where you want to find a little bit more space. We're going to hang out here for a few breaths. Allowing the shoulder blade to put a little bit more pressure onto the back body to open up the front of the chest, the front of the shoulder. One more breath here. Engage the core, bring the knees back towards center. And then as you would if you're coming out of Shavasana at the end of the class, roll onto your right side and go ahead and press yourself up to a seated position. Find whatever comfortable seat, any seat that is comfortable for you to maintain for a few minutes. So you can go ahead and sit in a cross-legged position here. If you did grab a blanket, maybe scooting that underneath your sit bones to find a little bit more of a lift. Or if you're comfortable being on your shins, hips to heels. And then maybe you like that support underneath your ankles. Or if you want a little bit of a lift underneath the sit bones here. A little bit of support there. Whichever feels more accessible. And then just come here, find your seat, find your center. Palms rest on your thighs. As I said just before, I like every time I come to a new pose that I know I'm going to settle into for a few moments, I always like to sway back and forth. Go ahead and find your center, and then start to just roll the shoulders up towards the ears, back along the back body, and then down. Maybe a gentle roll forward as they come up towards the ears once more, back and down. So take a few of those, moving in that backward direction at whatever pace you'd like. And then start to reverse that movement. So squeezing the shoulder blades back behind you, reaching the shoulders up towards the ears. Maybe a gentle roll forward and down. Just reverse that movement. Maybe starting those first few rounds, hitting every point, a little bit more deliberately. And then starting to find a little bit more softness, more smoothness in your transitions. And then go ahead and settle down. Place the fingers back behind you. Drive the knuckles down towards the earth as the biceps start to show themselves forward. Bringing the eyes and the elbows forward as the triceps start to wrap back towards one another. Opening the shoulders just a little bit more. Keeping the chest open. Gentle tuck in the tailbone to avoid splaying those sit bones back behind you too far. So staying tall and long through the center of the body. Finding a little bit more expansion through the shoulders. And as you drive the knuckles down towards the earth, start to pull the fists away from your back body. Moving a little bit deeper into the front of that shoulder, and then lower down. Take a few rounds here. Pressing the knuckles down and then away from the body. Finding a little bit more space and lower. Inhale, find a little bit more expansion. Exhale, lower. Inhale. Press away. Exhale, lower. Inhale once more. And then hold here for a count of 5. Again, rolling those shoulders open, shoulder blades down and back alongside the body. As you pull the triceps towards one another for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lower the fists down towards the low back once more. And then bolster that clasp, that bind onto the right hip. Pressing the elbows in towards one another, keeping that expansion, and then bring the right ear towards the right shoulder. Keeping those shoulders anchored down. Finding space within the left side of the neck. Inhale, head goes back to center. Body comes back behind you, unlace the fingers. If that was intense for your shoulders, go ahead and just wiggle them out for just a moment. And then you're gonna reverse the bind. So that awkward hand hold behind you, maybe that left thumb's on top this time. And once you find that clasp, drive the knuckles down once more, opening the chest, rolling the shoulders out and open. Finding that expansion. Then inhale, drive the knuckles down and back behind you, opening up. Exhale, lower. Inhale, open. Exhale, lower. Inhale, press down and back. Finding that space through the front of the chest. Exhale, lower. Keeping those shoulders down and away, try not to jack them up towards the ears, keeping that space, keeping that length through the spine. Inhale, press back. Exhale, lower. Inhale on this final round, holding for 5 seconds, checking in with your spine, reaching through the crown of the head, driving the knuckles back, shoulder blades along the back body for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, lower them down, and then bring that bind over to the left hip, squeezing the elbows towards one another, keeping that opening throughout the front of the chest, and bring your left ear towards your left shoulder. Finding space through the right side of the neck. And that space is coming from the tip of the right shoulder all the way through the base of the skull. Finding that space. Inhale back towards center. Then go ahead and reach the knuckles back down behind you, and then release the grip. Hands come back to the thighs, maybe roll out the shoulders. Once more. And now we're going to get a little bit more into some mobility of the neck. So go ahead and bring the right ear towards the right shoulder. Keeping those shoulders anchored down. Maybe sitting on the fingertips, sitting on the palms of the hands to keep that reinforcement there if you need it. From here, start to point the nose, point the chin towards the collarbone, keeping that reach of the crown of the head out and away to find that length. And then keeping that reach of the crown, start to bring the chin towards the chest. Nice and slow. As the chin then makes its way towards the opposite collarbone. Pausing for a moment. And then starting to spin the left ear towards the left shoulder. Bringing the gaze up just slightly. And reversing that motion, bringing the chin towards the collarbone. Feeling that pull, feeling the changes of the sensation as you make your way through. Keeping that reach, bringing the chin towards the chest. Feeling that line of tension begin to shift as you bring the chin towards the opposite collarbone. Brief pause before you start to open and bringing the right ear towards the right shoulder. Just take one more round at your own comfortable pace, but stopping at each landmark to explore some different ranges. Chin to collarbone. Drawing that chin across the chest. Reaching the crown of the head, keeping that reach to find as much length, as much space as you can. As the chin comes towards the opposite collarbone, the ear opens towards the shoulder. And then start to make your way back. Chin to collarbone, tracing the chin across your chest as it comes through center. Opposite collarbone. Spin the ear down towards the right shoulder. And then inhale back towards center. Take a breath or two for yourself. And then lace the fingers, bring the palms towards heart center. Inhale nice and deep into the palms of the hands. Then exhale, flip the thumbs down, palms away, rounding the back. Exhale, pressing away, rounding the shoulder blades away from one another, maybe a gentle tuck in the chin. Inhale, reach the hands up overhead, pressing the palms towards the sky, lifting through the shoulders. Exhale, release the fingers from one another and start to drive the elbows in towards the side body, cactusing the arms. And the shoulder blades draw down and in towards one another, in towards the spine. And inhale, rounding the upper back, bringing the palms towards one another, reaching the fingertips towards the top of the mat, rounding the upper back, pulling away. And then lace the fingers, breathing in towards the palm as they come towards heart center. Inhale deep into the palms. Exhale, flip the palms away, thumbs face down, rounding the upper back. Inhale, palms reach up, expanding the chest, reaching through the shoulders. Exhale, open the fingers, palms face towards the front of the mat, driving the elbows in towards the side, opening the chest. Straighten the arms, reach the fingertips towards the front of the mat, rounding the upper back, pulling that energy in through the palms as they come towards one another. Lace the fingers back, pull that energy in towards heart center. One more round. Inhale that energy in from heart center. Breathing into the palms. Flip the grip, thumbs face down, rounding the upper back. Shoulder blades round alongside the rib cage. Inhale, reach those palms up towards the sky. Release the grip, Palms open towards the front of the mat, driving the elbows, open the chest as the shoulder blades press through the ribcage, opening the heart. Really squeezing those shoulder blades in towards the back body as you get towards the end. And straighten the arms, reach the fingertips wide, wide, wide as they continue to reach in that arc as the palms come towards one another. Upper back rounds, chin tucks in, fingers laced together, energy comes back towards heart center. From here, we're going to find a little bit more range of motion, a little bit more isolation into the shoulders. So starting with that right arm, that right thumb is going to be facing towards the sky, and start to lift the arm up straight ahead of you. You're going to go as far as you can with that right arm in that direction, that thumb facing now behind you, and you're going to be reaching as far as you can go. And then start to flip the hand and start to lead with the pinky. The pinky is now going to open up, palm opens up towards the side of the room as the arm comes back behind you. Reversing that movement, now starting with the thumb driving up, back behind you, reaching those fingertips. And once you get as far as you can go, then you flip that grip, flip that palm once more, and lead with the pinky coming all the way down. A few rounds here. So starting with that thumb, reaching, lifting. Just like you're raising your hand, raising your arm above you, you're going to go as far as you can. Once you reach that end point, then you start to flip the palm away from you and bring the arm the rest of the way. Leading with the thumb, reaching back behind as far as you can, then you flip the palm opposite direction, finish the movement. Moving at whatever pace feels comfortable for you, starting with the thumb, reaching up and back behind you, spinning the hand, finishing the motion. Coming back towards the front of the mat. Just exploring that range of motion a little bit more into that right shoulder, feeling that rotation. One more round at whatever pace you're moving. And then come back towards center. Transitioning to that left hand, starting with the thumb facing the sky, reaching that arm up overhead, going as far as you can, maybe to about the ear, maybe you can reach just beyond, and then flip the palm away and finish your arc of movement back behind. Leading with the thumb, going as far as you can, reaching back behind you, then starting to flip the palm back towards the center as the pinky leads the way down. Starting with the thumb facing up, reaching up and overhead. Spin the palm out and away. Pinky guides your way down. Thumb reaches back behind. Whenever you need to flip that grip, go ahead. As the pinky guides the way down once more. A few more rounds here at your own pace. Allowing that movement to come as much as you can through the shoulder. To explore that movement, explore that range of motion. Keeping the chest facing forward. And one more round here. Leading with the thumb, going as far as you can. Spin the grip, spin the palm. Make your way down. And just reversing that movement. Palms come to the thighs. Go ahead and take if you did have a towel or blanket or anything underneath your sit bones or underneath your heels, or just go ahead and remove that and come in towards tabletop position. If you are on the tops of your feet, maybe roll your ankles out. Settle into your tabletop, shoulders above wrists, hips above knees. So we're going to take a few rounds of cat-cow, traditional movements here. Starting from a Stable and engaged, mindful tabletop. And from here, inhale, drop the belly, lift the sit bones. Pull the chest through. As the shoulder blades press the heart through the shoulders, opening up, faceless. Exhale, rounding the upper back, the mid back, and the lower back here. So because today is a shoulder-based class, although we still want to inhale and move through every part, every segment of the spine, overemphasize, bring the mind towards the movement of the shoulders. Really feel those shoulder blades press the heart forward in that cow pose. And then exhale, press your heel through the hand, feel the backs of the shoulders start to open as the shoulder blades round alongside the edges of the rib cage. And then begin to curl everything up and cat. Inhale one more round, starting through the low back. And know that that energy is going to start to come in through to the shoulders, pressing the shoulder blades against the back body as the chest pulls through. Exhale, round. Again, starting with that energy through the shoulders as you press away from the earth, rounding the upper back. Then inhale, come back to neutral. Staying in tabletop, you're going to explore that range of motion that we were working through before. So starting with the right hand, shifting the weight into that left for support. The right arm is going to reach up, leading with the thumb, coming bicep to ear. You can go a little bit further, wonderful. Then you're going to start to spin the palm away as the back of the hand starts to reach back behind you and comes to meet the low back. So it's like you're creating a wing for yourself. Back of the hand onto the low back. And then start to pull the chest open towards the right side of the mat, the right side of the room. And come back. Reach the pinky back behind, start to lift back behind you. Then when you need to, spin that palm so that the thumb is towards the sky once more. Then come back to tabletop. Do a few rounds here, not as many as we did earlier. It's a little bit more of a challenge to be working through the tabletop position. Reaching the right arm forward, thumb up, reaching as far up and overhead as you can before you spin the grip, spin the palm, reaching back behind you. Top of the hand comes to the low back. Spin the chest open, driving with that elbow, pulling the chest towards the right side of the room. Lower down. Reversing that movement, reaching through the fingertips, finding that movement through the shoulder. Come back towards tabletop. Once more, reaching the fingertips forward, thumb up, reaching up above your head, then spin the palm, keeping that open as much as you can. Back of the hand comes to the low back, pull the chest open towards the right side of the room. Come back down, reach the fingertips back behind, lead with the pinky as far as you can, and flip the palm, come back to center. Just as much of an effortful movement for that stable arm, keeping that support, keeping your body lifted as the opposite side moves that range of motion. Recalibrate yourself, your body, and then transition to that left hand, reaching out, fingertips out in front, leading with that left thumb, and then start to reach back behind you as far as you can until you need to flip the palm, keeping that open, reaching the fingertips tall and long the whole way until the back of the hand comes to the low back. Drive that elbow up and away as you pull the chest through towards the left side of the room. Gentle press to the right heel of the hand to help with that opening. Lower down, chest faces the mat. Reach the fingertips back behind, leading with that pinky. Then start to open, flip the palm. Come back to center. Twice more. Reaching the fingertips out in front, leading with the thumb. Pulling the arm back behind you as you start to open, flip the grip, flip the palm. Back of the hand comes to the low back. Pull the chest open. Open the left shoulder, pulling the left part of the chest up as the right rib cage pulls under. Close off. Reach the fingertips back behind, press back with the pinky as far as you can, and start to spin the palm, spin the shoulder. Come back to center. One more round, reaching the fingertips forward. Drive through the thumb, then start to flip the grip. Back of the hand towards the low back. Spin the chest open towards the left. Come back down. Reaching the fingertips back behind. Find that length, find that space. As the shoulder comes back through. Tabletop position. And then start to walk the hands forward, straight ahead of you. Sit the hips up towards the sky, keeping the hips over the knees. Finding puppy pose, but rather than keeping the arms wide, keep a little bit more of a narrow reach. If you need the space for your chest, feel free. You can go ahead and widen the palms of the hands to the corners, top corners of the mat. If you can keep that, you can keep the arms parallel to one another. Go ahead and take a few breaths here. So the forehead comes to the earth, maybe the chin, whatever degree of opening you can manage here in this moment. Staying engaged throughout the arm. Finding a little bit of space across the back body, across the shoulder blades. And then go ahead and lower the forearms completely towards the earth. And then allow the hips to come towards the earth, finding Sphinx pose. Feel free to make whatever adjustments you need. Sphinx pose, the forearms are parallel to one another. You're pulling the forearms, the elbows in towards the side body. Maybe a gentle grip of the hands, the fingertips, as you pull the chest through, pressing the heart forward. Finding engagement through the back body, keeping the chest lifted, the crown of the head lifted. The elbows are not only pulling in towards you, but you're also pressing away from the earth, keeping that lift, that engagement through the shoulders, keeping that space, keeping that length through the neck. Exhale, lower down. Fingertips come to 10 and 2. We're going to come into oscillating cobra. Inhale. Pull the chest up, pressing through the fingertips. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift the chest. Shoulder blades come down the back body. Exhale, lower. Inhale up through center. Drop the right shoulder in towards the middle. Right ear comes towards the earth. Gaze to the left. Stretching the front of that right shoulder here. Inhale through center. On the exhale, the left shoulder dips in towards the midline. Left ear comes towards the earth. Gaze to the right. Inhale up through center. And exhale, fold down. Arms come into a capital T. Chin to the mat. Bring the legs a little bit closer towards one another. You're going to bend the left knee and then reach the left toes towards the right fingertips. Right ear comes to the mat. A lot of these poses may be familiar from previous classes. Poses that I find are helpful for finding a little bit more space and mobility throughout the thoracic spine, throughout the mid and upper back. Finding space here in those areas. Work hand in hand and finding space through the shoulder. So in a previous class, these poses were used to find that space in a different spot. Just redirect your focus. Take a greater note of the sensation through the shoulder rather than the spine. Maybe with all the work in the shoulder, that comes naturally. Drive the left knee back towards the mat, coming back onto your belly. Then switching sides. Bend the right knee, right toes reaching up and over towards the left fingertips. Left ear comes to the mat. Breathing into that space, into that deeper opening through the front of the shoulder. Drive the right knee back towards the earth. Back onto your belly. Shoulders, hands under, fingertips under shoulders. Press through the hands up onto the knees. And then tuck the toes, press back. Downward facing dog. Take a moment here to settle into your down dog. Pressing through the heel of the hand, taking in that energy as you wrap the biceps towards the ears, triceps towards the back of the mat. And pulling that energy all the way through the shoulder blades, keeping them engaged as that energy travels down the back, through the sit bones, pulling the sit bones up towards the sky. As you find length through the backs of the legs, driving the heels towards the earth. Bend the knees. And then go ahead and ripple the body, pressing the knees to straight, rippling the body up through to high plank. Exhale, lower the body all the way down to the earth. Fingertips reach back behind you, lifting the chest, point the toes, reaching the toes back, coming into locust pose. Engaging the back body from shoulder blades to low back, engaging the glutes, finding that lift. Exhale, lower. Press the hips back. Hips to heels, drop the forearms, tuck the toes, press your body, pull through, upward facing dog. Then exhale, downward facing dog. So take one more round. Bend the knees. And then go ahead and use that momentum to ripple the body forward. Coming into high plank. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, locust pose. Lower palms under shoulders. Sit the hips back. Exhale. Drop the forearms, pull through. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. From here, begin to walk the feet up towards the wrists. Taking it slow, making your way towards the top of the mat at your own pace. Take a moment to find that fold. Then pressing through the soles of the feet, slight bend in the knees, push up through, unraveling. Inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center. Go ahead and find that bind once more, lacing the fingertips back behind the body, behind the low back. Drive the knuckles down, open the chest. Slight bend in the knees, hinge at the hips, forward fold. As you find that compression between the torso and the thighs, allow the fists to find a little bit more space. Allow gravity to pull the fists down towards the earth. Allowing the head to hang heavy. Go ahead and allow the fingertips to come away from one another, finding the earth. Inhale, halfway lift. Drawing the shoulders away from the ears. Exhale, fold. Inhale, pressing through the earth. Start to unravel. Coming up. Reaching the fingertips up. And exhale, hands towards heart center. Find the bind once more. Driving the knuckles down towards the earth, expanding the chest. Rolling the shoulder blades out and down. Bend in the knees, hinge at the hips, forward fold. Bringing that bind up and overhead as you find the compression, torso to thighs. And the head hangs heavy. Allow the fingers to unlace from one another and find the earth. You can hang here or you can grab opposite elbows. Find a little bit of distraction through the shoulders as you hang here in ragdoll. Finding space through the shoulders, the upper arm, the neck. Maybe find a gentle sway back and forth. Just allowing gravity to do the work for you at this point in class. If you grab opposite elbow, go ahead and allow the fingertips to come back to the earth. Press through the soles of the feet as you unravel one vertebrae at a time to come up into Tadasana. Allow the arms to hang down by your side, palms facing forward. Find a moment of relaxation, of stillness within the upper arms, then the shoulders, the shoulder blades. Feel the space, feel the energy, feel the strength that you use to move through class today. that is where we're going to end class today. If you'd like to come into Shavasana for a few minutes to just feel everything I just mentioned, all that energy, that strength, that range of motion, that activation through the shoulders, feel free to take a few minutes in Shavasana for that final rest. Thank you again so much for practicing with me, and I look forward to seeing you all next time.